Good morning. This is Jim Bell with MSource Training and Consulting. It is Thursday, July 24th. Are you struggling with call reports? Do you have questions? Do you have issues? Not sure where to go. I see every single day Facebook posts. I get questions via email, via phone call, via text about the call reports. People spending hours and hours and hours working on them or having issues getting them filed. So I thought I'd put together a quick video on some key points to consider when setting yourself up for call reports, as well as getting them filed and making sure that they're on time. So a couple things to remember, right? Brokers, correspondent, the base data is the same. Correspondent lenders, you are going to have some additional data elements that you're going to have to be tracking quarterly, as well as prepared to submit financial statements so that you can do a quarterly statement of financial condition aside your normal call report. So let's talk about the basics. First and foremost, what goes on the call report? This is base data that is loan level information, nothing you have to go searching for or doing any research for. The key here is you need to have a system in place. If I asked every single one of you, what's your loan level process for an origination of a lead from a real estate agent, you could probably give me 50 or 60 steps, all the way from calling the realtor to say thank you to the post-closing gift in the follow-up 2 months later. When I ask about the MCR or a compliance process, I typically hear crickets. Doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't have to be complex, doesn't have to be difficult, just has to be established, right? You have to have a process that you trust, that you are capturing the data that's required for the call reports in an accurate and timely manner so that when you're ready to do the filings, you can actually do them and do them correctly. Okay? First, what goes on the report, right? Primary residence, second homes. As of 2024, they eliminated anything that was business purpose and investment properties. Also, it's not your TBDs, right? This is not pre-qualifications and pre-approval loans. These are live transactions that have met the criteria based on your internal definition, whether that's the TRID definition and a COA definition, that's up to you. But whatever your definition of a completed application, those need to be put on your call report. All right. So once they're on your call report, there's only 3 ways off. They either have to close and fund, they're going to be withdrawn and or incomplete, I suppose, or they're going to be denied, right? That's it. So once they're on there, they're going to stay on there, and they're going to carry from quarter to quarter to quarter until you disposition them off. So if you're wondering why that number of loans that are in process every quarter keeps growing and it doesn't seem to make sense, it's probably because you've got some loans that are being reported that either one, weren't applications in the first place, that you're tracking from quarter to quarter and it's waiting for you to disposition them off of the call report, or these are loans that were maybe withdrawn or denied months ago that nobody went back into your system that you're using to track your data and put in the appropriate information for withdrawal. So that being said, a couple points. One of the big things I hear from people is, well, I just use my system or my LOS to do this. And don't get me wrong, whether you're using Arrive or LendingPad or Sphere or any of the other systems that are out there, these are great systems, right? They will produce the call report based on the information that's in there. But I need you to understand that that information that's in there can't always be accurate, right? It's up to you and the user as to how good the data is that it's using to generate that report. I think we can all agree that, we could probably run a loan scenario through DU for a client and get an approval based on the fact that they make $50,000 a month. But if we fat fingered it and they really only made $5,000 a month, it really doesn't matter what DU spit out. You can't validate that. Same thing applies with call reports. If the data that's in there isn't right or not up to date, then the data coming out of it for the call reports will not be accurate. One of the most common issues we see when helping people with state examinations is that their call report data is inconsistent from period to period. I call this an over-reliance on loan origination systems to produce call reports accurately. And it's not a fault of the LOS, it's a fault of the fact that we're not checking that data. If quarter one of a particular year ends with 10 loans and $1 million, quarter two has to start with 10 loans and $1 million. So if you're not cross-checking those numbers from period to period for each of the states you're in, you're setting yourself up for a potential issue when it comes time for a state examination, because your data you have no integrity to the data that you're submitting. So just because you can press the button doesn't mean that that's going to give you an accurate call report. Okay. Define your systems. If you're using your LOS, get in there, make sure that you have a process in place that verifies loan amounts are being updated, required data fields are being completed, and that the actual status of those loans is being completed accurately and timely to represent what happened on your transaction. If you don't want to use the LOS, you can use a spreadsheet, you can use a chalkboard, you can use a pen and paper if you want to. You just have to have a system in place that you trust that's going to give you the data you need to be able to accurately file your call reports when they're due. Again, going back to the correspondence, make sure that you are preparing those financials so that you can do the financial statement component of the call report every single quarter. In addition to doing them, look at them, review those financials. If you're in a state that has a net worth requirement of $50,000, the last thing you want to do is file a call report that shows that your current net worth is $37,000. You're just now going to exacerbate an issue with not just your call report, but potentially with your license. Lastly, just to make sure that everybody's on board here, states are getting very aggressive about fines, penalties, and we've even seen people to the point where they've been risking revocation of license based on either late or inaccurate filings of their call reports. Don't let this happen to you. This process doesn't have to be as difficult as what most people make it out to be, but it has to be defined and it has to be something that you can truly trust will help you get the right data into the system when you need to get it. Here at MSource, we do help with call reports. We will not only process the reports for you, but we will scrub the data you're sending over to us to make sure it makes sense. We're not going to file a call report for you where the numbers don't tie from period to period, right? We're also going to track that information in the background to make sure that you have an accurate reporting of all activity over periods of time. So if you're using it and you trust your systems, by all means, do it yourself. If you want a second opinion or you want assistance or you're like, all right, I'm done, I can't do this, it's too frustrating, I'm spending too much time, give us a call. You can visit us MSource24.com and request a consultation. My number directly, 248-230-9717. Happy to talk to you about what we can do to assist, even if it's helping you develop systems and processes for yourself. This is too important. These call reports are being launched, and they can be a significant pain point for you. Again, MSource24.com. We are here to help you. If you have any questions, please reach out. Make it a great day, folks.